finalists for the position. This comes after a search firm was hired earlier this year to fill Dr. Martha Saunders' replacement. Saunders resigned in May. Diaz was appointed interim shortly after. UWF reports more than 80 applicants applied for the position. Diaz's contract is worth up to $1.2 million a year if approved by the Florida Board of Governors. But today, critics are speaking out on the salary that's more than double the former president.
What's our return on that investment? What is he going to do for UWF that is so much better than anybody else has done? Mr. Diaz may do an extraordinary job. You know, my challenge is not so much with him personally, but it was with how this has been done.
That's former UWF trustee Jeannie Godwin, now helping lead the Save UWF movement. We'll hear from them tonight at 6 as we break down the situation.
Escambia County commissioners are working to bring more public beach access on Perdido Key. The plan would involve taking ownership of Johnson Beach and the Perdido Key State Park. Those properties are owned by the federal and state government. Relaxing on parts of Perdido Key come at a cost. Admission into Johnson Beach is $25 and $3 for state park admission. One commissioner says county ownership could potentially eliminate these fees. The goal is to make more people feel welcome to the beaches along the Gulf Coast.
And I just think that people in the community should either get a lower rate or maybe go like if you went to Bayview Park and then you go to Navy Point Park in the county, we don't charge you an assessment fee and you know, you live in the county. So I just want to have a discussion to see what we can do to maybe make it more accessible.
Tonight at 6, I'll have more on how the community is responding to the idea.
Florida Department of Law Enforcement releasing new information about a drug crackdown in Escambia County. Agents revealing today the operation led to several arrests and a large seizure of illegal drugs. The agency calling Operation Nottingham. FDLE, working with local law enforcement, served 22 high-risk search warrants on Wednesday. Investigators confiscated drugs including 14 pounds of fentanyl and 58 pounds of meth. They also seized marijuana and ecstasy, along with 30 firearms, more than $60,000 of cash, and 5 cars. 15 people are in custody. 7 others still wanted.
In total, this operation identified more than 20 co-conspirators involved in distributing fentanyl and other dangerous drugs throughout the greater Pensacola area. Many of these individuals are convicted felons and repeat offenders with significant criminal histories.
Tonight at 6, hear why the Escambia County Sheriff says the operation has a major impact on public safety.
The former deputy charged with hitting and killing 2 people with his car in court for a first appearance today. Greg Neesmith resigned after the crash on Perdido Key in July. Today, the judge set bond at $40,000 and ordered him not to drive or operate any vehicle. Court records show he'll be arraigned on December 19th. Neesmith is also facing lawsuits filed by the parents of the 2 college students killed.
80 million Americans plan to drive out of town for Thanksgiving, with many others driving around town shopping for bargains. Either way, you'll likely be watching what you spend at the pump. Florida saw a 20-cent spike in gas prices last week. AAA says things should shift as the week goes on.
Would you say it's probably better to fill up later this week as opposed to right now?
Yeah, certainly possible. I mean, what we typically see is a gradual decline. So gas prices typically rise like a rocket and fall like a feather. And right now they're falling like that feather. So, you know, the price that we see today, it's probably going to be a few cents less come tomorrow and then even cheaper in a few days. So it really depends on when you want to leave. But if you're departing for your Thanksgiving trip on a Wednesday or Thursday, it might definitely be cheaper to fill up that day compared to now.
Tonight at 6, Melanie Levy shares how Pensacola compares to other cities in terms of prices at the pump.
First Warning Weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
We got gas prices out of the way, though, Alan. Is the weather going to be clear for the roads this holiday?
Well, it depends on when you're going, when you're traveling. So we've got, right now, everything's great locally around here. But as you look at this, there's a mess of weather back toward the west, and that's going to be moving across the south. So tomorrow and tomorrow night, not really the best travel, depending on where you're going. But by Wednesday, if you're looking to travel around the south, driving Wednesday, really everything looks pretty good. Thursday, same thing. Friday, and then as we get into the very end of things like Sunday, that's when we're back to a chance for rain again. But you can see a weather maker here over areas of Louisiana and Texas, and some yellow zones here. Those are tornado watches for parts of Texas, a little bit of Louisiana in that as well, as they're looking out for some strong thunderstorms, and there is a risk of severe weather. We'll take a look at the severe weather outlook as well as the futurecast, timing this out as it moves forward in time here over the next 24 hours or so. We'll do that coming up in a full report, but wanted to show you what's going on now while around here the weather is pretty quiet. So as we break it down here, yeah, chance for rain tomorrow during the day, about 40%. It does go up tomorrow night. Warm weather, lots of clouds in the skies. Wednesday, everything looks pretty calm. Temperatures will be cooling throughout the day, though, as high pressure takes over, and then it will be considerably cooler there on the holiday.
After Republicans rejected Democrats' demand for a clean extension of Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies, the Trump administration is working on a new proposal.
It's supposed to address health care costs. Correspondent Julia Benbrook is at the White House with what we know about the framework.
According to people familiar with the matter, President Donald Trump is planning to unveil a new proposal addressing health care costs soon. This as his administration tries to avert a spike in premiums driven by the expiration of key Affordable Care Act subsidies at the end of the year. If the subsidies do expire on December 31st, there would be a big impact. KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group, predicts the premiums people pay would more than double next year. Now, the administration's proposal is not final, and the timing and content could still change. In fact, in a statement, a White House official made that clear, writing, quote, "Until President Trump makes an announcement himself, any reporting about the administration's healthcare positions is mere speculation." But here's what we know about the framework under discussion. It envisions temporarily extending the ACA subsidies in some form while incorporating a series of guardrails aimed at limiting their scope. It may also include new income limits and a requirement that all enrollees pay some form of premium. This topic was, of course, at the center of the government shutdown. Democrats were pushing for an extension of enhanced health care subsidies at that time. While that did not happen, Senate Democrats did promise a mid-December vote on it, spurring the effort by Trump and his aides to develop their own competing proposal. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Our parent company is launching a new initiative. Sinclair Cares Fill the Food Banks is a partnership with Feeding America. Their regional affiliate, Feeding the Gulf Coast, distributes truckloads of food through churches and other organizations. You can scan the QR code right there. It's on your screen. You can donate through there. Every dollar can provide up to 10 meals.
Some milk. Hundreds of veterans in Northwest Florida have been finding help with their VA benefits and health care at informal meetings called Coffee and Claims. They're organized by Jason Boatwright. He had his own battles with the VA after a short stint in the Air Force. He later worked in Congressman Matt Gaetz's office, handling veterans issues and learning the ins and outs of the system. He then headed public affairs at the Pensacola Veterans Clinic before he was let go during the DOJ cuts. Now he's helping veterans on his own with Coffee and Claims.
I said I would continue it. I have had 4 so far. They have grown significantly. The last one I did at Coffee Guy in Pensacola, that was quite large. That was probably the largest one. I said I would just continue doing it because I've met some great people, great people.
We'll have much more on Boatwright's story tonight at 5, a veteran making a difference in his community.
We talked a little about gas prices, but if you're flying for Thanksgiving, experts helping you prepare for everything that could go wrong from departure to arrival.
Plus, the young woman sent to a mental hospital after a heinous murder, now back in custody. Details of her escape and recapture.
Download the WEAR News app now, sponsored by Forrest Jordan and Associates.
All right, we're taking a look now over the Pensacola Bay Bridge. Traffic flowing smooth right now. As you can see, it's rather slow on the bridge. Could just be some buildup in one direction or the other. Traffic's flowing smooth right now. A couple wrecks to note. We'll take a bigger look, though, here in about 30 minutes, see what all is out there.
Atmore police are stepping up efforts to stem illegal street racing. They point to a shooting on Carver Avenue over the summer as one of the dangers. Officers say the argument started over the outcome of a drag race. The department now planning to use drones and unmarked vehicles to patrol areas where illegal racing is known to take place. They say drivers, organizers, and spectators will be cited.
The Transportation Security Administration expects to conduct nearly 18 million screenings over the Thanksgiving holiday. It's no secret air travel's had its fair share of challenges this year.
And if you're one of those planning on catching a flight, Michael Yoshida joins us with more on how you can try and stay ahead of any potential Turkey Day travel headaches.
Hey there, yeah, from weather to air traffic controller shortages, maybe even a mechanical issue. It seems almost inevitable these days that some problem may arise with your flight. So we spoke with a travel expert on how to try and stay ahead of any potential challenges that may be thrown your way.
Millions of Americans are expected to fly for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Expect a little more volume, expect some delays, expect some cancellations.
Paul Bernardini with Flighty, a flight tracking app, offers these tips. First, know your itinerary and possible trouble spots. Ideally, fly direct. But if that's not possible, then understand your airport connections and challenges they may present, such as air traffic controller-related delays like those experienced this year at Newark, or possible winter weather, like in Denver or Chicago. Shorter routes, too, can be dicey.
So think like Scottsdale to Las Vegas, or Chattanooga to Nashville, or Philadelphia to Newark. That's where we tend to see the most delays in the U.S.
By understanding these things, you can create a plan B, or even change your itinerary to avoid potential trouble. Once travel day arrives, Bernardini says knowing where your plane is and where it's coming from is the most important thing.
Okay, my plane before it gets to me in, sunny Miami, is going to go through 4 or 5 cities that are getting hit by a snowstorm today. And I'm going to have to probably plan ahead a bit more, or just be aware that there's a potential of more delays.
Slowdowns that won't always be immediately shown on the airport monitor or in your airline app.
Airlines, they don't really have an incentive to tell you right away. They have to manage crews, they have to shift things around, and then alert the passengers, hey, this is what's occurred.
And there are plenty of ways to track your airplane these days. Some popular apps include FlightAware, Flight Radar, or the one Bernardini works for, Flighty. He says having that information and then being a proactive traveler allows you to beat the rush of others trying to rebook and maybe even change your travel plans some 30 minutes, maybe even an hour or more before you get that travel alert from the airport or your airline. Live in Washington, Michael Yoshida, WAR.
And as we all know, security lines can really slow down getting to your flight. What should people know about TSA screenings this week?
For sure. So the big one, make sure you have that real ID. This Thanksgiving might be the first time for some travelers that they're going through these checkpoints since that requirement went into effect. So make sure you have that real ID or a suitable alternative. That can include your passport. There's also other options listed on the TSA website because you could wait in that long checkpoint line, get to the front, and then if you don't have that ID, be put off to the side to go through additional screening. Obviously, that would be frustrating. And also, another big change that's happened in recent months, but more on the positive side of things, no longer need to take those shoes off when going through TSA checkpoints. So welcome news to a lot of travelers, I'm sure. And also when it comes to those lines, those we spoke with say if you want to try and get some real-time updates on just how long it's taking before you arrive to the airport, check social media sites like X or maybe Reddit. Travelers often posting some real-time updates there. Also, check the website for the airport you're going to be flying through. A lot of them have started to put on their own websites some real-time status updates, wait time updates there. So again, you have an idea of what you might be getting into when you arrive at the airport.
Michael, nobody likes talking about this, but what about trying to stay healthy while traveling this holiday season? What advice do medical professionals have?
Yeah, obviously this time of year, kids are back in school. The weather might be starting to change depending on where you live in the country. And we are heading towards that winter flu season. So an infectious disease specialist with the Cleveland Clinic recommends a few things. A lot of this pretty straightforward and good throughout the rest of the year as well. Number one, wash your hands. Also, when you're on that airplane, be sure you're maybe wiping down any common spaces, whether it's that armrest, that table for the tray, or maybe even those vents for the air conditioning or the lights, just anything to, again, try and limit the amount of germs that might be spread. And also, depending on your preferences, your health status, or those who you may be around when you travel this Thanksgiving. They also recommend possibly considering that flu shot, a COVID shot, or something else. So again, a lot of this pretty straightforward, but always good reminders when it comes to traveling around the holidays. Michael
Yoshida joining us live from Washington. Thank you, Michael.
First Warning WeatherNet is sponsored by Peden Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electrical. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alan Strom.
Fairly clear in the skies, as you can see. Pretty sunny day today, a nice day as we view things from the Island House Hotel. That's out of Orange Beach, Alabama. We're looking at a sundown over the Gulf waters this time of the year. Now, there's no activity around here at this time, but that may change as we head through the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night. So we're going to be looking for that. Let me zoom out the map and you can see where the active weather is. So as you look, there are some yellow zones back over Texas and part of Louisiana. These are tornado watches as they are looking out for some severe thunderstorms. Now, it does look a little bit, as you look down toward Houston in the bottom part of this, it looks a little bit weaker, and we may end up kind of seeing that type of weather over our area. In other words, what I'm saying is some of the worst of the weather is likely to go a bit farther north and north of us, away from us. But if you're driving north or headed somewhere else here over the next 24 hours or so, you may be running into some of this rainy weather. Here's kind of the weather setup. We've got a front, and eventually what's going to happen is cold air is going to come flying in behind a front here, and that's going to happen for our Turkey Day holiday. But right now everything's calm, but we're going to be watching and waiting on that rain to be moving through. Let's go forward in time. We could do that with the Futurecast, and I've got sort of a broader version of it. So late tonight, this is showing a little band or line of showers and storms, just right over the Mississippi River, headed on up through Tennessee as well. And as we take it through the overnight hours, this will continue to shift toward the northeast. So this shows, a couple little green spots down below, but not a lot of activity here. It could change, but this is showing some active weather in northern Alabama up toward Huntsville, up in areas near Nashville and other areas of Tennessee tomorrow morning. You timestamp there at the top. And then as we shift on through, you can see some of that during the day tomorrow going to be moving around areas of Atlanta. That may cause some travel delays out of Atlanta, especially later on in the day. The earlier the flight, the better for tomorrow if you're going to be traveling by air tomorrow. And then you see how this little line extends on down into areas of Alabama. So that's where some thunderstorm activity is possible tomorrow night, but it just doesn't show a whole lot here along the coast. Still a chance, though. You see little spots out over the water, too. I mean, we could end up with some rain in the area. We've got a high rain chance tomorrow night, but it just looks like most of the active weather is going to be elsewhere. We'll see if that changes, though. And then ahead to Wednesday, the weather maker moves on and everything kind of settles down. So Wednesday looks like a great travel day, especially across the southeast. So that's how things are looking. Severe weather outlook, it includes areas back toward the west where we're seeing some strong thunderstorms right now. That's for today and tonight. And then tomorrow it does have us in a 1 out of 5 here for northwest Florida and southwest Alabama. A little farther north here up toward Birmingham. Other areas are in a 2 out of 5. This is where some of those stronger storms may end up moving through. So that's the severe weather outlook as we do look ahead to tomorrow. Let's check out the Hardee's Beach Cam view. Hilton at Pensacola Beach is where we have the camera. What a beautiful scene as we take a look down there along the coast. Just a little bit hazy in our skies. So rain chance ramps up throughout the day tomorrow into tomorrow night, ultimately arriving at about 70% tomorrow night. And then the weather really cools dramatically here later on in the week. And for the holiday, Thursday, Friday, we are looking at some much cooler air in the area. But as people are traveling back here or as your friends and family are leaving here on Sunday, that's when we also have a chance for rain that we're going to be looking out for.
Thanks for that, Alan. In 2014, her crime shocked the nation. She stabbed her 6th grade classmate to win favor with a fictional internet character called Slender Man.
Ivan Rodriguez reports Morgan Geyser is now back in custody after a brief escape.
Saturday night in Madison, Wisconsin, authorities say Morgan Geyser left her group home, met up with an acquaintance, then vanished. Years after, she pleaded guilty to attempted murder in the 2014 stabbing of her 12-year-old classmate. Police say she cut off the monitoring bracelet law enforcement used to track her. In a video posted to social media this weekend, her attorney, Tony Cotton, spoke directly to Geyser.
If Morgan happens to see this, turn yourself in. Do not continue to remain on the run like this. It is not in your best interest to handle this matter that way.
More than 24 hours later, Geyser was found sleeping at a truck stop around 150 miles from Madison. She was with another person whom police did not identify. The two were taken into custody, according to police. In January, a judge ordered Geyser to be released from a mental institute where she spent nearly 7 years based on recommendations from court-appointed doctors. Prosecutors argued she remained a danger to herself and others.
Most people are not capable of taking a knife and plunging it into someone else. One time, Morgan, as we know, did it 19 times.
When she was just 12 years old, Geyser and her friend Anissa Wire lured their classmate Peyton Leitner to a park in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where they stabbed her 19 times to impress Slender Man, a boogeyman for the internet age. Leitner survived, crawling out of the woods to safety, where she was discovered by a passing bicyclist. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
And coming up, facing charges in the NBA gambling scandal, the coach and legendary player in court today.
And filling bags with groceries for people in need. Volunteers for Manna Food Pantries on the stories that stick with them most. Portland Trail Blazers coach and NBA legend Chauncey Billups in federal court today, facing charges he rigged poker games backed by organized crime.
Billups is just one high-profile defendant named in the October 28th indictment. ABC's Aaron Katersky has more on today's proceedings.
NBA Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups won the NBA Finals MVP award back in the day, but there he was sharing a courtroom here in Brooklyn federal court with purported mobsters and others who allegedly rigged more than 24 poker games that defrauded victims out of more than $7 million. Billups pleaded not guilty to 2 conspiracy counts that, taken together, could in theory get him decades in prison. Billups and his 30 other co-defendants were in the same courtroom as the judge said he wanted the case to go to trial no later than September of next year. Federal prosecutors said at least some of the defendants are contemplating changing their not guilty pleas to guilty and resolving the case before trial. We're not sure whether that would include Billups. He made no statements on his way out of court, free on a $5 million bond. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, Brooklyn.
Chime In, sponsored by Florida Power and Light.
We're celebrating November birthdays on Chime In. You can share your photos and videos. Text WEAR TV to 95577 or look for Chime In. It's on our website.
The closure of a large meatpacking plant likely won't help the rising cost of beef. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
Starts now.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Shoppers have been seeing meat prices climb all year, and one of the country's biggest suppliers is about to shut down one of its larger plants.
National correspondent Matt Gelka reports the White House struggling to find ways to bring down the costs.
The largest meat supplier in the U.S., Tyson Foods, is set to shut down one of its bigger meat processing plants in Lexington, Nebraska. Members of Congress in Nebraska have already criticized the decision. Senator Deb Fischer said she was extremely disappointed in the decision that would have a devastating impact on the community. Congressman Mike Flood said Tyson should try and help the roughly 3,000 people who could lose their jobs.
Work with our food producers and livestock owners. Let's make this plant in Lexington work for another company so that we can keep the jobs that we've built.
The closure comes as beef prices are at record highs. The average price of ground beef in September was $6.32. That's up from $5.54 in January when Donald Trump took office. The president has pressured meat packers to lower meat prices and directed the Department of Justice to investigate meatpacking companies, accusing them of collusion, price fixing, and price manipulation. His Treasury Secretary partly blamed the Biden administration's immigration policies for the rising prices.
Because of the mass immigration, a disease that we've been rid of in North America made its way up through South America. As these migrants, they have brought some of their cattle with them. So part of the problem is we've had to shut the border to Mexican beef.
The price of beef has become a political problem, adding to the cost of living challenges faced by Americans. The Trump administration recently removed 40% tariffs from Brazilian coffee, cocoa, and beef while attempting to tackle the affordability crisis. The administration also announced a plan last month to import more beef from Argentina in an effort to lower prices. There is no apparent quick fix. Droughts have left American cattle supply at its lowest number in 70 years, with demand still high. Some industry experts predict ground beef could hit $10 a pound in 2026, with no relief until 2027. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
And there is our question of the day. Point your camera at the QR code on your screen to help us answer. Have meat prices affected your Thanksgiving dinner plans? You can also head to our X or Facebook page. It's that time of year. We'd love to hear from you.
2 high-profile federal cases dismissed today. Judge Cameron McGowan Curry ruling the prosecutor who brought charges against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James was illegally appointed. President Trump handpicked Lindsay Halligan for the job and pushed for indictments against his political enemies. The Trump administration can choose to give up, refile the charges, or appeal the judge's ruling on Halligan.
Shopping around before you sign a mortgage may save you hundreds and thousands of dollars potentially. University of Florida researchers compared mortgage fees. They found the average is 1 to 3% of the loan's value, but can go as high as 8%. Many lenders offer instant quotes online. The study found a few minutes of comparing options may reduce the overall cost of buying a home.
Some experts are warning against adjustable rate mortgages, saying those are a financial gamble. Economists say in some cases they provide home buyers with short-term breathing space from increased borrowing costs. The trade-off is after a set period of time, the adjustable rate will reset with the current market, and that could send monthly payments soaring.
This is Gaylord, Michigan. The snowman dressed for Thanksgiving. The live look. No snow there yet, but flurries are expected in a couple of days. It just looks cold, though. The camera is in the woods about an hour south of the Mackinac Bridge. The display goes up every year, and the live camera attracts viewers from around the world. I'm going to have to show the kids that one. Alan, Haley.
Yes.
That chill in the air, you know, that's what we're missing around here.
That crispy fall air, we need it.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the thermometer there. It didn't look like it was freezing cold there. Where was it?
That was up in Michigan.
I knew 20 seconds ago.
There it is. Okay, yeah, let's see what the thermometer says there. Oh, well.
Yeah, well, we know it's not.
Maybe around 30. It's hard to tell that.
It's not snowing there yet. We know that.
Maybe it's right at 32 degrees if 30 is right there in the middle there.
You see the blue, it just looks cold.
Too cold for me, but I'm happy to be down here, Alan.
Yeah. It's warm here. It's warmer than normal, too. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous as well. Look at this view here at Hardee's Beach Camp. The time of the year when the sun sets over the Gulf. Just spectacular looking scene there. But it's warm, yep. I mean, we've got temperatures right now that are in the 70s, and our weather is all dry. But we do have a weather maker that is back toward the west, and this is all moving east in our direction. But I think a lot of that is actually going to be much farther north than right here along the northern Gulf Coast. But we've got a chance for rain tomorrow and into tomorrow night. So we may see some rain in the area. Also, you see these yellow zones. Those are tornado watches back toward Texas. They're looking out for some severe weather in those parts. If you are traveling around the south, Wednesday looks like a great day, driving, flying, whatever, throughout the southeast region. But tomorrow, we've got this weather maker with rain in the area, not only here, but also across other parts of the south. Some heavy rain likely to hit Atlanta, places like that. And then we just have much, much cooler air. So you guys are ready for the cold. We've got it coming in a little bit later on in the week.
First Morning Weather, sponsored by Pensacola State College.
Well, it was from long before sunrise. You came and you answered the call to donate food to Manna Food Pantries. Now, for this record-setting amount of food you donated, there are some awesome volunteers in the warehouse getting that food ready to go out to the thousands of people who turn to Manna just to have something to eat, like Evan Moon and Liana Raggio. They do the work that is tiring, and it is not glamorous, just the work of the angels in our midst.
Angels in Our Midst, sponsored by Anderson Subaru.
Liana started in 2019, and then she got Evan to come starting in 2020. And they have such a servant's heart. And I say heart as if it's one, and I kind of think that it is.
Liana Raggio and her husband Evan Noon have poured out their servant's heart at Manna Food Pantries in every capacity there is to work here. Evan especially loves being the utility player. There's a need, he's your guy.
Whatever they need. A lot of times that is doing things like
organizing the dry room, sorting food as it comes in. Other times it's just like cleaning up trash or helping them move things to rearrange it. And then this year we've started driving the trucks to do pickups 1 day a week. We'll do some drop-offs occasionally, and you get to see where the food ends up and really understand the hunger that you're helping address.
Liana has really found her niche in the dry room. Everyone will tell you that she is very particular and meticulous about every inch of this room. How the food is kept and checked is critical, and she leaves nothing to chance.
I hope that I've just made someone's life just feel a little easier, a little less hard, whether it be the other volunteers I interact with, they found the food they needed to pack the bag a little bit easier, or the person, has a week of not having to worry about where their next meal is.
For this young couple, it is more than going through the motions and giving a few hours every week. There is genuine care and concern. They say this is what they have found throughout the MANA organization.
They'll basically do everything they need to make sure that we get food out to people. No matter kind of how things change or how things come in, the group of people pivots and makes sure that they can meet the need.
Volunteers like Liana and Evan are vital to keeping the food flowing. MANA Executive Director Didi Flaunlacker says their work is not always easy. There's the physical and the emotional.
It's hard because we meet people who are hungry 365 days a year. 71,005 people that we helped last year in Escambia County, 24.5% of the kiddos will go to bed hungry tonight.
Behind the numbers, there are stories. Stories the couple will always remember. The very human part of what they do. Liana immediately recalls a family.
They had a young daughter who, when we were packing up their bags, was so sweet. She was like, oh, do you guys have any pickles? I love pickles. I'd like a jar of pickles. And so I ran upstairs, I found some, and just seeing how happy a little girl was over a jar of pickles.
Somebody came up with just a small donation. They heard people in their community were hungry and they wanted to drop it by. And they had said that they were thankful to be able to make a donation that day. But when they were much younger, they had relied on emergency food assistance.
They come willingly and they come gladly. And I think when they leave, their hearts are full.
These two servants' hearts beating as one, feeding their neighbors through MANA.
Angels in our midst.
Two Republican leaders lashing out on social media, their rift over a proposed peace deal for Ukraine.
Diagnosed, but it's very common this time of year. I'm Liz Bonis. What we all need to know so we can get something like this to go away. It is just ahead.
Your time is a little after 4:30 here. Traffic seems to be moving pretty smoothly there along the bridge. Just a beautiful evening out there. But as always, be sure to stay safe on the roadways.
Thank you, Haley. Ukraine and Russia may be moving closer to a peace deal. After widespread criticism of a Trump administration proposal revealed last week, European leaders released a counter-proposal. That new version removes clauses on Ukraine conceding territory to Russia. Talks between the United States and Ukraine have continued with plans to take it to Russia once it's finalized. Leaders from several European neighbors are pledging to keep support of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance slamming Senator Mitch McConnell after the senator criticized the U.S. proposal. McConnell saying, quote, rewarding Russian butchery would be disastrous to America's interests.
First Warning WeatherNet is sponsored by Peden Air Conditioning, Plumbing and Electrical. Here is Chief Meteorologist Alan Strum.
Well, it's a little hazy as we check out some of our camera views from around the area. That's looking toward downtown Mobile. Weather all dry around here, but that may change tomorrow. We've got a chance for rain as all of this is going to be moving toward the east in that direction. So that's going to be moving on. A bit of a severe weather threat here where you see these yellow zones. That's a tornado watch that we've got posted. They're looking out for some severe weather. But as you do look here at sort of the lower end of it, there's not as much activity. We may end up just seeing a few showers and such here. Could go one way or another, though. I'm going going to show you the severe weather outlook as well, and here's some of the surface features too. So we've got this warm, humid, rainy air within this spot right here ahead of this front, and then a front will move through later this week. And for the holiday, we've got much cooler air that will slide into place. So as we check out our futurecast, here's late tonight with these thunderstorms continuing to rumble through areas of Mississippi and Louisiana. And then as we take it through the overnight hours, this kind of shifts into tomorrow morning more toward the north. This is what we're seeing, a better chance for this heavier rain up in northern Alabama, Tennessee, northern Georgia. Some of those areas is what we're looking at. We'll have a stronger south wind out ahead of it tomorrow. Warm, humid air coming in. I mean, there's a chance at any time during the day tomorrow something may pop up around here, but it looks like that rain chance is going to be a little bit later, a little bit better later in the day and into tomorrow night. But you see the bright color, the reds and the yellows and oranges and such, those are showing up more in central Alabama and northern Georgia, at least on this one particular model, which is our futurecast. So anybody that is traveling tomorrow, any direction, maybe running across some rain, especially driving or flying as well. But the travel weather on Wednesday across the south just looks so much better. It looks really quite nice, and Thursday is going to be pretty calm and much cooler around here as well. That's how things are shaping up. Severe weather outlook for the rest of today and tonight includes areas back toward the west. Louisiana, Texas seeing some strong thunderstorms. And then as we take it into tomorrow, there is a 2 out of 5 here, a yellow zone that includes some areas of south central Alabama. And then there's a 1 out of 5 for southwest Alabama and northwest Florida. So that's telling us, hey, it's on the low end of the scale, but a strong to severe thunderstorm may pop up within this area. So we'll look for that tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. We'll keep an eye on things and let you know, and check us out right here again. 70s right now as we check out our temperatures, and overnight it will be mild, very warm all night long, inland and along the coast, very warm. A lot of cloud cover in the skies as well. Same thing tomorrow. Temperatures getting well up into the 70s here for tomorrow. And then the weather starts to change once that rain threat moves on and out. We'll see that cooler air move in. Definitely hazy as we look down toward Navarre Beach. Can't see it. It's too hazy there as we look at the road there in Santa Rosa Island. That's from Portofino. So as we check some of our coastal conditions, and this is a time of the year when people do hit the beach. People come in from out of town, and maybe you know them. They're like, hey, we want to go to the beach. Yeah, it's warm out. 69 degrees is not cold for us when you're talking water temperature. So we did see some crowds down there, not heavy crowds, but a few people today down in the sand. We'll check it out in a minute. Sea Marine forecast does show with a stronger south wind tomorrow, it will get rougher. Let's take a look at that now. There's your sundown too. Interesting, good looking view. And there's the people I'm talking about. All right, are any of those folks in the water? Indeed they are, mostly just waiting, but yeah, it's like the lifeguards are saying it's 69-degree water temperature. What a great view there. The Hardee's Beach Cam is on top of the Hilton at Pensacola Beach down there. So ahead, we've got this rain chance during the day tomorrow that's about 40%, ramping up a little bit in the afternoon, and tomorrow night it ends up being about 70%. And then we'll see sun and clouds on Wednesday, better weather around here, and then the cold air starts to move in. So it's going to be much cooler here for Thursday and Friday. And I've been mentioning travel weather. Another note there on Sunday, for folks leaving here or coming back, yeah, we've got a chance for rain.
An estimated 30 million Americans suffer from eczema. Many patients are prone to flare-ups this time of year.
The weather's cooling, heaters are coming on, and skin is drying out. Liz Bonus talked with a doctor about the variety of symptoms and ways to manage the condition.
Hey there, everybody. As this picture shows, eczema is an inflammatory skin condition. It can cause your skin to be dry, itchy, scaly, especially this time of year.
It's not likely caused by weather changes, but extreme temperatures and humidity do tend to encourage flare-ups. Family medicine specialist Dr. Scott Woods of Ohio's Tri-Health told us.
It is a little bit seasonal. Spring and fall are really quite common, but we do see it year-round.
Those with allergies and asthma are especially prone to this scaly skin condition, although it can be caused by a genetic inability to repair the barrier of the skin.
It's usually a dry, patchy portion of the skin, and usually itches a decent amount.
Topical steroid creams are a common treatment, but prescription medications that fight inflammation may also help reduce its symptoms. The good news?
After the rash is gone, if you actually have some common areas where eczema occurs, if you apply steroid cream to that area like once or twice a week, studies have shown that it tends to keep it away much more commonly.
Now, it is important to note you can't catch eczema from others, and getting a proper diagnosis right now can help you get the right treatment right away. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
A ticket sold in Pensacola matched all 5 numbers in yesterday afternoon's Fantasy 5 drawing: 3, 4, 9, 14, 26. The ticket is now worth $26,700. It was purchased at the Raceway on Airport Boulevard, just off Interstate 110. It's a Thanksgiving Day tradition for millions of people across the country. What's new at this year's Macy's Parade?
Motivate Your Monday is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Happy Monday, everyone. Today on Motivate Your Monday, we're talking about the benefits of strengthening your core. Sure, everyone would love to have a nice six-pack, but more importantly, having a strong core is valuable beyond the appearance. For those unfamiliar with what your core is, it's a complex series of muscles that includes everything beside your arms and legs and is used constantly. Consider your core to be your body's stabilizer. A strong core can assist with injury prevention, protects your organs, and honestly helps with your everyday tasks. Core training is beneficial for everyone and can help us all. For any exercise tips that you would want to try for your core at the gym or even at home, make sure to connect with your local professionals.
Morgan & Morgan wants to help you start your week off right so you can stay motivated on your path to wellness. For more ways to motivate your Monday, go to WEARTV.com.
Good morning. You'll see old favorites, of course. And these new balloons, look at that one. Derby Tiger from K-pop Demon Hunter. Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Largest of the new balloons, 45.5 feet the Buzz Lightyear is, 58 feet long too. Mario from the popular video games, Pac-Man celebrating its 45th anniversary this year, and Shrek's Onion Carriage there with 8 movie characters, the most ever featured on a single balloon.
Oh, that Shrek one was definitely my favorite. I love Shrek.
Can't wait. I can't wait.
Yes. And Macy's also providing a glimpse of new floats, including Stranger Things, Upside Down Invasion, and Serta's Counting Sheep's Dream Generator. Other new floats feature Legos and Labubu's. Live parade coverage starts at 8:30 Thursday morning on our sister station, My NBC 15. Of course, got to bring the Labubu's to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I guess it's that time of year. I love the sleep counter, the sleep machine there. Looking ahead to New Year's Eve, a dazzling new ball will drop in Times Square during the countdown to midnight. The Constellation Ball, 12.5 feet in diameter, covered with 5,280 Waterford crystals. It also has state-of-the-art LED lighting for a spectacular show. You can watch it drop on Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with host Ryan Seacrest right here on ABC. Are you excited?
I am. That's definitely on my bucket list, to go to New York and see the ball drop.
It's been a long year. We're almost to a new one. Yes. Soak it up while you can. We'll be right back with a look ahead to WEAR News at 5.